Welcome to Soapy. I'm Greg Rikaart.
And I'm Rebecca Budig, and our guest today can say something that no other living actor can.
That's right. Rick Hearst, who plays Rick Lansing on General Hospital, is the only living actor to have appeared on all 4 remaining soaps. Was until Beyond the Gates on CBS. Correct. So we're going to have to get him onto Beyond the Gates so he can be a history maker yet again.
He's an amazing guy. I worked with him at Guiding Light.
That's right.
And he was like a big brother to me there, and I just love him. You know, when you're so young and you have that experience and you have just such a great feeling around somebody, I'm excited. I'm excited for him to be here.
It's going to be a happy reunion.
Yeah.
Well, we should also mention that Rick is a 3-time Daytime Emmy Award winner.
Yeah, he is a real soap star.
Yeah.
And he is our guest. Next, coming up. Rick Hearst from General Hospital.
Welcome to Soapy.
Thank you, guys. Thank
When
you
I
very
saw you, it
much.
was like seeing my my long lost brother that I like.
Or uncle in this case, right?
Oh, uncle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could say uncle.
I never thought of you as like quite older than me or
Oh,
anything.
yes, but I am.
You're not. You're so not. Back when we worked together, Rick and I worked together on Guiding Light.
Yes.
And I played the young Michelle Bauer, although I was older, playing younger.
You were, because prior to that was Rachel Miner, right?
Right.
Yes.
But you know, and you were playing Alan Michael Spaulding.
Yeah, the hyphen. So
names.
important I had 2
Alan
names. Yes.
Michael Spaulding. Back then, I could say that you seemed older because I was so much younger. Like I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And you were probably in your late 20s, and I was
I
like,
was.
He's so much older.
I was. I was
You know
also.
how it is when you're
I was
young.
married. I had.
That's right.
I had at least my oldest son Nick
Yes.
at the time. We didn't have Cameron until.
Yeah, being married made you like an old man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
how you are
I've
when you're
always
young?
been an old soul.
Well,
though.
but we also-
I carry like a 1940s mentality, the good stuff, not the bad stuff. You know what I mean? I've always been that way. I'm an only child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always kind of adapted to situations and people and whatnot. So it's probably why I became an actor.
But also we had this conversation with a number of guests where it is a unique job that we have where you can work with people who are 20, 30, 40 years younger than you and 20, 30, 40 years older than you. And that cross section of generations is a really interesting perspective. So I don't think of you as being older. I think of you as someone who I've known my entire career. And we just do this thing.
We do get to watch each other grow up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
It's pretty fascinating.
It's really cool.
You had this black, dark hair, and now look at you. I mean, you look exactly the same in the face.
Except
And
for
then
the
you
snow
have
on the
this-
roof. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I will say you made an impact on me because we had a shared experience at Guiding Light, and you
Yes.
were just so kind to me. That whole group of people was kind to me. And
It was
I
a
think
very
as a
special
young
cast.
person, having like, you know, Kim Zimmer and Robert Newman, all these like amazing actors who were so kind. Alan, I love him. Anyway, it really impacted me.
Peter Simon,
Peter
my guys
Simon was my
were.
father.
I love Ron Raines to death. He was you boys.
Oh yeah, he
Texas.
played Alan.
He's
Ron
from
Raines.
he's from Nacogdoches, Texas.
I love Ron Raines.
And he will, you know, obviously if you see Ron now, you can see that he is bald, and he was wearing. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. He had a beautiful. Hardly. He had the most beautiful piece that and he called it Fluffy. I swear to God, he's like, Fluffy looks good today. It's
my
like,
God.
What a
so
pill.
funny.
But yeah, like Jerry Verdorn, Peter Simon. Peter Simon is just.
Peter Simon played my father, and he
Yes.
treated me like his daughter. He took me to hockey games and things like that. He was so amazing.
He was a unique breed because Peter was from old school soap, and he was a New York actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had. Peter had a way of, as you come into a scene, you never knew the scene actually started because he was the same person from when he was talking to you 5 seconds,
so
5, 4, 3, 2, and he's still there, but he's right in the moment. He had that ability to just be so in the moment.
He had a face that made me laugh, and I don't know what it
Oh, okay.
was. It's like
It was a
because-
stillness
I'll tell
that you
what-
don't-
I'll
okay.
tell you what it was.
All right, go ahead.
You know, it's kind of like you. You do this to me. Greg does this to me. where you can read their. I know what's going on in their mind.
Right.
And it's not. It's always
It's a gentle.
me.
It's not a glaze.
It's a gentle joke towards me.
Yes.
And I can see it.
Right.
And I know what it is.
Right. But the
And
rest
it
of the
just-
world, not quite sure.
And I'm like peeing laughing so hard.
Yeah.
I could never get through scenes with Peter. Anyway, so okay, you're on Guiding Light.
Yes.
I'm going to let you talk because I know I
Thank
keep
you.
talking.
I mean, I
too
am
much.
here.
Hello.
But I do have the first question.
Go for it.
Okay.
But you were on many shows. You were on Days of Our Lives.
Yep.
As Scotty, Banning
Scotty.
the second.
Yes.
Guiding Light, Alan Michael Spaulding.
Right.
Young and the Restless, Matt Clark.
Yep.
Bold and the Beautiful as Whipple Whip Jones the Third.
Yep.
You're like the second on one show and the third on another.
Yep.
And now you're General Hospital as Rick Lansing. I mean, each set must have a different vibe.
Completely.
Where did you feel? It's not like, I guess that's comparing. It
Most
is
at
comparing.
home?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's I think it's not necessarily most at home. It's just you're in different stages of your life, I think, when we go to different shows.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we've all been on different shows
Yes.
now, right?
So true.
So I think it's you find yourself in the character, and then you find where your character exists within the family of the show, right? So therefore, that's if you're able to connect on all ends, it's wonderful. I've been fortunate that I would say that there were two shows I think that I can say I held the most. Felt the most complete familiarly with. Familiar, is that a word?
It is like a family.
Yeah, it was. I would say would be Guiding Light, because it was such a unique and growth period in my life as a human being, as a father, all of that, and as an actor. I really felt like I cut my teeth as an actor in daytime on Guiding Light. And then General Hospital, when I first came there, it really was a character that I got a chance to make my own. And it was not, I was not necessarily, the funny thing is when I went in and met for that role, Bob Guza and Chuck Pratt were writing the show. And I met with them. So this was my first meeting. I didn't have an audition, I didn't have a screen test, nothing. Every other time, I would go through the process. And this was like, woo, look at this, And I went in and I met them, and this may sound funny, but in auditions, I tend not to be chatty. I just sort of lay back, let them do all the talking, and then respond in kind and just, kind of feel them out at the same time. And after I left, I expected, okay, well, you're gonna start on this day and here's your scripts and whatnot. Mark Teschner called me, called my agent, should I say, and I said, so what's the deal? And they said, well, they want to know if you want a screen test for it, maybe. And I went, wait, I thought this was an offer. And they said, no, it is, but they're just, they had some other ideas, some other people and everything. I'm like, well, no, I said. And that's the first time I've ever done that. And I was panicked. I was like, oh my God, I just said no. And I said, whatever they got to do, that's fine. If they need to make the decision, let them make the decision. And they screen tested some guys, they didn't get the role. And then they came back and they said, they still wanted to see if I would want to screen test again. I said, again, respectfully, no. I said, if they're concerned with whether I'm able to play this part, I said, or whether I can be an actor in daytime, I said, I think I could do the one that, we all know. But I said, if they're concerned about me playing this part, I said, that's up to them. I said to my agent, I said, send my reel over to them so they can at least see a body of work. And when I did that, they still screen test guys. But then I got a call from my agent on a Friday night. It's 10:30. The job starts on Monday, early, right? And my agent at the time calls me and she says, I'm sorry, I was in the premiere of Red Dragon. That's how long ago this was. And she goes, and I got the call. She goes, and you got it. I was like, wait a minute, it's 10:30 at night on Friday. I have no script. I don't even know the name of the character. They didn't either. They sent over a stack of scripts. That's when we used to get scripts. I don't know if you guys are getting scripts still.
No.
We get
Emails.
yes,
PDFs.
same. Have to save paper, but I like paper. Do you print yours?
I'm a
You
very
print yours?
tactile
Yes.
person.
Good. Okay. Yes. Print.
I have a paper calendar, which I've made fun
Good
of all
for
the
you.
time.
No, you shouldn't. No,
Yeah.
no,
And
it's
I'm
tactile.
always
You
on
got to
time.
see it. You got
I'm early.
to know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, so I got all the stacks of scripts, and I show up on the day, and so I looked to see the character's name. At first was, and nobody could speak the character's name. It was Peter. And then it was Daniel. And I was like, are we going to go through every single apostle, like in the Bible at this point? And then they settled on Rick, but R-I-C. And I was like, does he have a last name, or is this like a model? It's like, what? I don't understand. And so that's who I became. I became Rick Lansing. And that didn't happen until almost 2 weeks into the role. And I had to, last thing, I didn't realize this. I'm reading through the script, and I'm supposed to be in a South American jail, right? And my lines are written in English, but Spanish. I'm like, interesting. I wonder if they're gonna. Why would they subtitle? Is this gonna be? Whatever. I get to set, and we're going through. Mary Medeiros was the director at the time, and I said, yeah, I got a little question. She goes, yeah. I said, this is in Spanish. She goes like, oh, you don't speak Spanish? And I looked at her and I went, yeah. They had.
I'd been a flop.
They had background guards in a South American jail. I got this big guy, pulled him aside. I said, you can speak Spanish, right? And he goes, oh yeah. I said, read this to me in my ear over and over again.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to repeat it back to you until I actually say. So he did that. I spoke, garbled Spanish, like I wasn't supposed to speak it well, but I understood the dialect enough. And so my first episodes where I had to speak Spanish on camera, I did.
Wow.
But it's thanks to that one guard
That's
who helped me out.
That's impressive.
But you know what? It's
freakish.
It's also we always describe like this genre and the work that we do, and the reason why so many of us go from one show to the other is that you have to jump on a speeding train on your first day, and that was just another version of that for you.
Oh yeah.
But wait, I'm curious why. If you can think back, do you think it was your ego getting in the way of that screen test and not wanting to do it, or?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course it's ego. Yeah. And you know what it is too? I had never. I'd seen so many people go through this to where they were just offered. They were just offered. Were you ever offered? You've been offered before, right? Have you ever been offered?
All my children.
Once.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so at that point when you're offered, can you imagine for yourself if somebody said, you're getting the offer, why? Because of your body of work, because of your experience, because they want you, right? Mm-hmm. They may be offering out to other people, but they want you. So imagine them saying, no, we're going to offer it, but no. How's that feel?
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
Not great.
So, and it's not an F you, but it's sort of like, no, I have to kind of honor myself at this point.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they want a chemistry read and they have someone
That's different.
established on the show,
Yeah.
I always think, well.
But I understand. I understand.
This wasn't that.
Yeah.
I understand that instinct though, because the two, career-sustaining
Can you
jobs.
curse on this show?
Yes.
Go the
Okay,
fuck
great.
for it.
So now everybody's like, Rick Hearst is an asshole.
No. I think.
No,
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
No,
I'm
because
teasing.
what I was going
I'm
to say
teasing.
is why I asked whether or not it was ego is that for me, the two career-sustaining jobs that I have had, one was not a contract role at first, so I just had to go in and audition for producers,
Right.
which lowers the temperature of your, especially as a young actor, your anxiety, your nerves, a huge amount.
Yeah.
And then the second job was an offer. So I've never had to screen test, and actually I have for pilots that I didn't get.
Right.
Because when the pressure is that high, I would just fall to pieces. So I might have said no for that reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this
So-
isn't about me.
No.
It's all good. It's all
It's
shared.
about you.
It's shared experience.
The real reason we brought you here was to talk about brain damage.
Oh, you dirty bastards.
Oh, yeah, he really wanted to ask me
okay.
about this.
Well,
He
we're not
really-
far from where I filmed it.
Which was where?
33rd Street between 10th and 11th.
Explain to people what.
Well, it's
brain
like
damage
this
is.
cult classic horror movie. Was it your first credit?
It was my first film credit. Yes, it was.
And it's a remarkable performance. It really is. And it's become a
Are
cult
you doing the
classic.
eye thing that you do with her right now? Is there a joke in there?
No,
Okay.
no,
He's
no.
being sincere.
Well,
he said, I've got to ask him about brain damage.
Oh my God.
Well, because do you do the circuit of horror?
I've done a
cons?
few, yeah, but not. It comes in. It ebbs and flows from time to time. Yeah, but I have been out for it. So
What was it like to do for you as a young actor? That's your first job to do a horror.
It's
So-
almost like a rite of passage.
yes, it was. I mean, I was thrilled, and it was. I, as a young actor, especially coming out of program, not long before that. I think maybe not even a year. I had been out of school, and I go in for this role, and I know it's the lead, and it's a low budget. It's a buyout. Basically, they pay you. You're not getting any. But I had, quote, a piece of the film, which never. If I could now, oh, it would have been, yeah. But that didn't happen. Anyway, no, it was. I lived on set, literally. The character had a bedroom, and I decided that I wanted to immerse myself completely. This was my first job. I wanted all of it. It was. I didn't have to work in a restaurant for 3 months. I was thrilled, and it was grueling. It wasn't an easy role to do. But when you're 22, 21, 22.
You just
You
jump
don't
right
care.
in.
You don't care. Do whatever. Yeah, sure, great. Oh, you want me to be covered in pee and vomit? Great, awesome, great. I'm all there. I'm all there. Oh, and blood? Cool. Right on. Yank your ear out and your brains come flying out of your side. Yes, I'm in. Let's do it.
Well, I think
Let's
it's time
do
for
it.
the brain damage sequel.
Now you joke, but I've been trying to. I have a dear friend of mine who was a writer back in L.A. He knew of this film too, and he was writing he wrote the Pirates franchise, right? He was part of that team, and he was my neighbor, and our kids went to school together. And he said to me one day, he's like, he was a huge fan of the movie, and I'm just like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand here. But we've been in conversations, and he wants to try to find a way to be able to do brain damage too, and he wants my oldest son to play a character that would be somehow the offspring of
Your character.
my character, even though the top of my head blew off at the end of the movie and light shone out of it, and
it's the
ideally
Is your son an actor?
he went through program, but he's not really following. He's going more in the voiceover direction right now. But could he do it? Yeah, he could do it. He could definitely do it.
Well, it's the easiest genre to get movies made right now.
After hearing about like the Terrifier series, all of this, and how it's taken off, yeah. I mean, that movie, Brain Damage, was produced by the same guy who did Basket Case.
Yes.
A director by the name of Frank Henenlotter, and he's a New York native. Hi, Frank. He got the money for Brain Damage from that.
Right.
That movie the budget was $900,000 back in 1986.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. Oh, and they were loving it. And Dave Kinlan and Gabe Bartolos. Gabe Bartolos has his own creature creation studio now. Like, he's a big time in FX. And when I knew him, he was this really just burly, like punkish dude. Like they were just all out of their minds.
You talked about not having to be a waiter during that time.
Yeah.
And this business, I know you had some hiatuses between soaps.
I did.
So you became a realtor. Did you do anything else? You are a realtor still.
I am. I am still real. I'm still a licensed realtor in the state of New Jersey. But did I do anything else in the mic? Oh yeah. When in 2016, my whole family moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta. We relocated. I
remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was. I mean, look. It was fine. We were there for 6 years. And while
you
we were
worked there, right?
I did.
You
I did
did.
work there, and that was the whole purpose to go there. Was kind of over LA, and I was no longer working on Guiding Light, and I had moved over to B&B, and that kind of fizzled out. So I was in betweens, and then I got called back to GH for half a second, and
That's when I saw you.
right,
When I was at
exactly.
General
So that's when
Hospital,
we
yes.
worked together there, and then that all of a sudden went bye-bye. Like it stopped. It wasn't like we're not bringing you back or killing the character. It was just. They didn't call it that point. It was a new direction. It was new writers that came in at that point. So, and I get it. So I was like, whatever. So I was in Atlanta and I was working, and then my mom and my mother-in-law and me and my wife and my kids, we were all together, as we always have been. We decided, my mom has always been an extraordinary cook her whole life. And people would always say, Anne, you should do something with this. You should do something with this. But she was in, corporate cosmetics for a very long time. She's actually was the first American representative for Sicily Corporation here in the U.S. She's responsible for that.
Wow.
So after that, after she retired at 72, I see her, we're walking around, the food scene in Atlanta is really big. Like farmers markets are huge. So we're walking around and everybody's kind of peddling their wares, and there's, this food and that cheese and this meat and blah, blah. And my mom looks at me, she goes, I bet I could sell my sauce here. And that's all I needed to hear. So ping, I decide, let's try to do that. And that led to, let's try and do, she had a turkey meatball recipe that's out of this world. So she said, let's try to sell the turkey meatballs, and let's try to sell some chicken parm, and let's try to sell lasagna rolls. And before we were done, we had created 9 SKUs, different sizes, all different, 8 different sauces. And we were selling in farmers markets and all around Atlanta, and created a $250,000 business of just the 4, me, my mom, obviously, and both of my boys. And then Donna was always like loading things up for us on Saturdays.
Donna is your
to get
wife,
on the podcast. Yeah,
for
my
those
wife.
that don't know.
So we did that for 6 years. And I'm glad we were able to realize that dream for my mom. And so many people got a chance, because that was her love language. If you ever had a meal of my mother's, you'd be like, genuinely and honestly, this is the best freaking food I've ever had in my entire life.
My sister is like that, and
Yeah.
you can, when people say, you can taste the love in the food.
Absolutely.
It's a real thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And I can make things that she made, but it's that.
Yeah.
I saw
factor
a
with it.
video you had, and she had like a little garden, little vegetable garden, or little.
Yeah.
You had
She-
it all in these planters that were raised planters.
Yeah, they're actually a friend of ours owns a garage door company, so they're all garage doors that are put together.
Oh.
And so we still have both of those all there, and she grew everything. She grew Swiss chard, she grew tomatoes, she grew onions, garlic, everything. We still have them there. So we're gonna. Unfortunately, she passed away
I
a couple
know.
of
I'm
months
so
ago.
sorry,
sorry.
she passed away.
Thank you. So
I love that you lived with your mom.
yeah.
You took care of
Yeah,
your mom.
well,
so sweet.
Yeah, well, we grew up together, my mom and I. When I was 6 years old, my folks split, and from 6 to just about 10, it was just she and I. We lived in Fort Lee, Jersey, in a garden apartment. And I had my responsibilities. I was a latchkey kid. She went to work, I went to school, came home. I was told to clean everything up, and of course, 5 minutes before she got home, I'm running the vacuum all over the carpet and whatnot. But she's.
It's my fantasy for my kid to want me.
Yeah.
For my kid
Good
to
luck
want
with
me
that.
with her.
I tried to teach my children, and now they're 34 and 30, and one's married, and his husband can take care of that now.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, sorry, I tried. He did it.
Well, we both have. You have 2 stepchildren, but we both have onlys, and I always say I think it might be easier for us because we can theoretically follow them rather than them having to come back to us.
Yeah.
So they may be stuck with us no matter what.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
can try that tactic if your boys are in the same place.
I'm done. No, I'm sorry, Greg. They're on their own. They have to do their thing.
So you also made history to circle back to your
No inventions or
career,
anything,
by being the only living actor to have, and actually Rebecca and I figured out that if you take both of our careers together, the two of us together equal one Rick, because she's got Bold and Beautiful.
Thank you. That's a compliment. That's
I have Bold
and-
and the Beautiful, All My Children, and Guiding Light,
right.
and
I
General
have-
Hospital.
Angela, that's 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
only have
4.
2,
You're
but
almost there.
we cover your whole path because I have Young and Restless and Days of Our Lives.
Yep.
So we've got to get you on Beyond the Gates now.
Oh God, right? That's
Then you can
You were
reclaim your
just in
crown.
Atlanta too.
I was just
so
in Atlanta.
I know.
who knows? Who knows?
Did Michelle write for Rick back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Because she was there,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Michelle wrote for. I'm sure she
And
wrote
Bob,
really-
isn't Bob's at the Beyond the Gates as well?
I
Bob
guess so.
Lusa.
Yeah. Bob, that's true.
See?
That's true. Well,
Okay.
Are
Well,
you-
we're putting it out into the
I'm
universe.
going
There
to
it
tell
is.
you, I watched your Emmy reel. And I think that's why I thought you were nominated, because I voted for you. I voted for
Well,
you.
thank you.
God damn it, why did
Thank you.
You did your lawyer on the show.
yes.
You were just fantastic. You had to do your lawyer I mean, it was a monologue upon monologues, but it was so authentic and it was so effective and so great.
Thank you.
So great. And I love you
I
and
was like
Nancy
this
Negron
during the whole
together.
thing.
I just love you and
yes.
Nancy Negron.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's
There,
wonderful.
there's something that happens, and we know this. Like there's something that happens when the two of us kind of get together. We get each other. She has the same energy as my mother had, and I told her this recently too. There's just like an understanding between the two of us that doesn't have to be spoken, you don't have to work certain things out. But when we first started working together, we worked very different, right? I've learned to adapt a little bit more. I tend to be a little rigid, rigid then, and just now I call it focused. But I was so locked sometimes in my process that, Nancy, you know how she is.
Oh, Nancy's just
by the seat of her pants,
yes.
and it's a marvel and enraging when you first work with her. You just don't know what you're doing.
I had one scene. I had one show with her, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. But it
Oh my God.
it put me off my feet that you have no choice. Go with it,
Yeah.
and the
fun.
the shit that comes out sometimes, it's just like, wow. So now I love working with her, and I know what I'm getting, and she and I, there's such a symbiotic sort of thing going on. But
Well,
yeah,
wait.
the
So
lawyer shit is like-
when you say rigid or focused, do you mean like locked into how in which you imagine a scene should go?
No, not so much that. Staying. I guess
perfect?
adhered to your intent.
Got it.
And sometimes that's, you have to, as you guys both know, you have to be flexible to sort of, you have to absorb or welcome the energy of the other actor. Obviously, it's not that you can't be in your process and still do that. It's just I was that's an insecurity on my part back then. Believe it or not.
Sure.
So now I call it. The focus is there, but if you're not sure where it's going to come, you just take a deep breath and just go, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I always say adrenaline for me too is such a powerful tool in my preparation, because not my preparation, but in my execution.
Yeah.
Because of how
And do you
fast
still
we
get
move.
nervous?
Oh yeah.
Do you still get nervous?
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
and like I
That's
know
the
you.
beauty.
Do you?
I know.
Absolutely.
Especially with all that
I'm
legal
petrified.
jargon.
I'm 60 and still doing this. I get out there and I want to go, oh, is my brain going to go at this moment? No, I'm there. Fantastic.
Right,
Not to say that I'm like
right.
old or anything,
agree.
but it is. It's a little more challenging.
Yeah.
I've had coworkers say to me, because we'll rehearse the scene on camera right before we tape, and then I'll say, "Can we run this one last time?" And and I'll be messing up left and right.
Yep.
And then that camera starts rolling, and I am word perfect. And
got
I
it.
have a lot to say.
Yes.
And then after the take, they'll be
Well,
like,
you played a lawyer as well, didn't you?
No, that was
Lawyer?
Christian.
That's Christian,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Okay, right.
Christian LeBlanc, who played my brother on Young and Restless.
yes.
But it's the adrenaline gets me over that finish line, and I can because it's there. But I
Yeah,
think
I have
I
that
think I'm a
too.
little. My brain works in such a way that it doesn't want to sort of nail it until it needs to.
Do you feel? I'm going to ask you.
Go ahead.
This is. Some people feel that they can break away from script. Do you find that the longer that you've been doing this, do you find do you catch your handles? Do you have any handles that you use, like using the word like?
Oh,
Like
yes.
similes, things like that connect.
I add a lot of wells at the beginning of a sentence
Right.
that don't belong there.
Right. But do you think that that's a means of helping you to transition something? Because sometimes you'll have lines that almost you feel like this line was written this day, and then they came back to the script the next day, and then they continued the thought, so that it almost doesn't. You're trying to connect. You know where they're going with it, but there's something that won't allow you organically to move through it, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
I hear that. I think for me, I'm also married to a writer, so I have had times
Ooh.
where I'll say, "Is the line?"
Are you married to a writer that writes for you right now?
No.
That's
but,
good.
But
Yes.
I know we all respect writers, but I see the process day to day where, you
Absolutely.
know. And so there have been times where I'll say, hey, this line it's written A plus B, but it feels
Right.
like it wants to come out of my mouth B plus A.
Right.
Should I say it B plus A? And he'll look at it and he'll say, no, you should say it as it's written. And I'm like, okay. And realizing like someone wrote it the way it was written, and I am
Absolutely.
going to do my best to honor that.
Yeah.
And so
I think that anybody who's had training of any kind will do that, because it's not our job to change something that somebody else wrote, right? You should take it as gospel, and that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, when you're on set, this is a first draft medium.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to find a way to be able to
Make it real for
to
yourself.
make it real for yourself, and to make the intent of what the writer wanted in the first place, and the show and the producers and all of that really come to life.
yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Good. I was going to say before we go,
Yeah.
because we've been
Yes.
sitting talking for a long time. Is there anything else you want to do? Do you want to write? Do you want to? Yes.
Yeah.
Write books, write scripts, write.
Right, brain damage too.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. No, I won't take that one. There's certain things that I don't know where I'm at with it right now, because I've had this major shift in my life. So it's caused me to really, like, all of a sudden I have a world vision now, and I'm going, oh, that's too much. I don't know where to go and how to do it yet. But yeah, I mean, one of the things I've wanted to do for a very long time is write my mother's story, because it is a very epic sort of tale, and it, you know, comes from another country to being here, and there's a lot of things that are very topical, and I think that could,
That's a great way
could
to
be done.
honor her.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's scary too, because you have to look objectively at your parent, and you also have to look at objectively as the people who raised your parents, and all of that, and honor them and tell the truth, and you know, be respectful at the same time,
And grieve in the process too, by the way.
and grieve in the process. Yeah,
So that's a lot.
And that is a long
I can't
journey.
wait.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I'll let you know.
Well, if you want to catch Rick Hearst, you can catch him on General Hospital.
Yep.
On ABC,
ABC.
weekdays. Yeah.
And you guys also stream on Hulu.
Yes, we do.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we
That's
do.
right.
If you want to watch any episodes of Soapy that you've missed, catch us on the CBS YouTube channel, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
being
welcome.
here,
Thank you.
Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love you.